Good afternoon. I'm Chrissy from Marble Art Originals, and I'm going to give you a few handy tips on how to marble with children. So there are a few handy tips, and here they are. Cocktail stick is very handy to use if you work with smaller children and you don't want them to get poked. You can either nip off the sharp end, or you can use a skewer, which is blunt anyway. And this is how we go ahead. So, for starters, if you are going to work with little people, I suggest that you put down the paints first. Start with a background color, one drop at a time, very carefully. Squeeze the pipette. Sometimes gravity just pulls the paint out, so you don't need to squeeze at all. Again, you can see one drop at a time. Wait for the drops to open before you put new paint down. The colors we are using today, well, the colors we always use is the Marbling for Fun paints. And just for this half term, we have a range of already diluted paint, which is a lot easier to use for children. But you will have to mix the floater the night before. So the first thing that you can do, and that is the easiest for little people, is literally hand over hand. And that is when the grown-up, if this is the child's hand, the grown-up just covers the hand, or here's the child's hand, grown-up takes the hand and just help the child get the feel of the paint. You can still do beautiful designs. Children learn fast, so they see what the paint does. And for instance, that is just a little flower with a few hearts. Now, I suggest for beginners, little people, the grown-up prints. The paper, easiest way is just to slightly curl the paper. Roll it on in one roll and lift off, and there is your print. And have somewhere where you can just dry the paper on the side. There's the one print. There is plenty of paint left, and that can be another print like a ghost print. Or a little chevron. Instead of using a cocktail stick, you can use a skewer, which is a little bitty thicker. And let us, instead of putting paint down, children can put the paint down with paint on the little skewer, because that drop is tiny. Other side of the skewer, put another drop down. And here's an easy design to create a heart. You simply slice through your circles. Children, when they get the hang of it, they can do their own printing. And again, it is just rolling the paper on from one side to the other, and job done. Again, leave that to dry. There are two more ways, which is a lot easier for children to put paint onto the surface once they do it themselves. So they can squeeze out the paint that was in the pipette, and they can stipple. You can see the drops coming out are tiny, and they are very light, which means they are going to stay afloat. Do the same with another color, and empty the pipette and stipple, stipple. Tiny drops. Let us do one last color, and there you go. That is one way to get the paint down. Another, as I have shown a little bit earlier, to dip the skewer in the paint, just touch the surface, wait for that to open. Now, probably the easiest technique or design for children to do is to do freestyle, which is when they literally just play dot to dot. Through one dot, right through the other. There's a little heart. And when they are happy with the design, they can print. Some people keep moving, and as you see, that's not a problem. The paint just gets a little bit more intricate and the design more fine or finer. There you go. When they are happy with the design, again, just take the paper. This is 160 grams marbling paper, and it marbles beautifully. On and off. And there is the design. A few handy tips is cover your table. We cover our tables with paper, plastic first. This is just a white bin liner. We also have some paper, and then fill the tray right to the tippy top. That makes designs a whole lot easier to print. Aprons, and if the kiddos can wear old clothes, because the paint is meant to stain and it does that well. These tips aren't only for children. They are also handy tips for people who start, and some people just are more heavy-handed than other people, and it is the way it is. And if you find that your paint doesn't always want to stay afloat, some of these tips would help. That's it. Thank you for watching. Bye.